What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Imperfect Action Show. I'm your host, Dizzle Speaks. I am taking the place of the one and only Brendan Boyd today, and I'm here with Matt. I'm super excited for this episode with Matt. We're going to be talking about things crypto, creating multiple streams of income, passive income, residual income, all the great income so that you can live your best life every single day. So on this podcast show, we talk to 6, 7, 8-figure earners about how they took imperfect action and they're making moves and making plays in their businesses today. So let me introduce my guest to you guys. This is Matt Fernandez. He is the man behind the scenes when it comes to crypto and creating multiple streams of income. So I'm so excited to talk about trading in crypto and learn something today because your girl, listen, the only thing I know how to trade is clothes at Buffalo Exchange. So I'm excited for this. So let's go ahead and get started. Matt, let's see if your mic is on. You might have to unmute. There you go. Perfect. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you. Thanks. First of all, thank you guys for having me. Looking forward to really just answering all the questions today and providing value for every single person tuning into this podcast.
I love it. I love it. Well, happy Valentine's Day. As we know, today is the love day. So we're going to spread the love on this podcast today. Monetary love. But I do want to say happy Valentine's Day to you, your family, your loved ones, and everyone watching today. We're in a time where we honestly need more love, and the world can afford to have more of that spread from, intimate relationships through personal relationships on down. So appreciate you spending your day with us today, your time here in the morning. So talk to us, tell us a little bit about Matt Fernandez, your background, where you from, and then we're going to get into what you do with RFG.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. So first things first, I just want to thank you and spread love to everyone else on Valentine's Day, because I know you guys could be anywhere right now. So the fact that you guys are tuning into this, that's amazing. So I hope to provide some value for you guys. And like she said, some monetary love for every single person tuning in. But a little background about me. So growing up for me, I was an athlete. I played baseball and football at very, very high levels all throughout high school. And I got scouted to D1 schools in the States. I'm actually from Toronto. You can see my Blue Jays jersey if you can see it.
There you go.
And what happened for me was I got injured in my grade 11 year and pretty serious injury in my ankle. So because of that, I had to kind of refocus and retool and really adjust what I was doing. And I decided to go to university and take the normal route. I studied pre-med, hoping to become a doctor and get accepted to med school. And what happened for me was, it was kind of funny how everything worked out. In March 2018, my best friend named Casey, he told me about the idea of picking up day trading and learning about crypto and investing. And at first, like the typical person, I was very, very skeptical. Didn't really understand much about it. And it was just so foreign to me because the way my parents were raised and the way my whole family was, everyone was just looking at jobs. And that's all I really knew. So I didn't really think anything else. Like my cap at the time was going out and becoming a doctor. That was the highest thing I could think of in terms of income, in terms of impact. So when I saw crypto and investing, it was just such a foreign concept to me, but I realized it was possible to make money. So I tried it out in June 2018. That's kind of when my journey started. Ended up making a little bit. So I believed in what was possible. And then I proceeded to lose over $15,000 in the space right after that. And that was my initial experience in the space. From there, I got a chance to really just continue learning, continue getting better. Really had my breakthroughs in 2020 when I got a chance to learn from some better educated people that made 7, 8, 9 figures in the space. And really from there, that's when I really elevated myself and was able to take myself to that next level. Since then, I was able to see a lot of success in the crypto space, especially during the last bull run. And what happened there, made a good amount of money in this space. And then from there, what I did is I took that money and I used it to fund and create my own project called RFG, obviously, partnered up with some of the biggest academies in the world. And along with that, what we've also been able to do is I was able to actually create my own crypto exchange called Donecom, where we do over-the-counter high levels of crypto to cash transaction, as well as our own platform that's launching in the next 2 to 3 months, which is going to be like a Coinbase or like a crypto.com, but even better, in my opinion, because our customers are going to be able to have their own private keys. And if you guys know what that means, it's a lot more security and safety behind the space. So that's a little bit about me in a nutshell. Yeah.
Very nice. I love, you said a lot, and I can't wait to unpack RFG and the done.com as well. And kudos to you for saying better than crypto.com, because that's how you big yourself up to know you have something that's
Yeah.
going to win. It starts here first. So I love that. So taking it back a little bit, you talked about family and being in med school and kind of having those pressures of your family, like, hey, this is what you need to do, the traditional route, right? Which I think a lot of us, and some people probably watching now, are really sitting at home and they're faced with, okay, my parents or my friends want me to do A, B, and C, but I really want to go a different direction. So for you, what was that conversation like with your parents or whomever was, in charge of sort of making the or taking the calls and making the calls for you, as to, I don't want to do med school anymore, I really want to change and go into the crypto business? Like, what was that conversation like?
It was really tough, honestly speaking, because it was I remember 2 months into this industry and like learning it and seeing what was possible. I understood that this is what I want to do. And this is what I want to do full time. And I remember I was actually in Las Vegas at a conference, and like that's when I really had my I guess breakthrough. I was like, okay, I don't want to become a doctor anymore. And what I did, just being real with you, is I didn't really like tell them fully until I knew 100%. So when I came home from Vegas, I just like, I remember it was mostly my mom was like the main person, because that was kind of like her kind of dream to an extent. And I just told her, I was like, look, this is like what I want to do. And I told her what I was going to do. I'm going to try it out for the next year or so and see how it works. If it doesn't work, I'm going to do what you guys did, and I'm going to work a job, live a normal life, but I want to at least give myself a chance to do something different. And if it works out, it works out. And obviously now after they saw what I was doing and they saw the impact I made, they saw the amount of lives I've changed and obviously how it impacted my life, obviously they approve of it and they're like, it's amazing. But at first, obviously, like typical person, they were pretty skeptical. And even to this day, to an extent, even though I'm making like a lot more money, they're like the benefits and this and this. So they still have that mindset, but they're still obviously open now after seeing obviously the overall success.
Right. I love that for you. And, the point that Matt made, if you're listening and watching, is he took imperfect action to say, I believed in what was possible, although I didn't know exactly what that was going to look like. He invested in taking the risk on himself to try something different. And so, the follow through on that is really probably what got you to this point and where you are now today with the crypto business and working on creating an entire new platform that's going to be up against a giant like crypto.com. So in terms of crypto, because I know I kind of got a whiff of crypto around 2020, I want to say, like when the pandemic happened and everyone was sort of looking for, ways to make money online. Before that, I literally didn't know anything about crypto, the coin, but I know it's been around for quite some time. So your introduction to crypto, I know you mentioned you saw what was possible. What did what was possible look like for you, and what did you know about crypto before you got into it, if anything?
Yeah. So, I mean, I actually, the first time I ever saw crypto at all was back in 2017. And how I found out about it was I just like went to an event and there was a guy talking about crypto, and it was like, I was just so like, I didn't really understand it at all, but I put a few $100 into it and I lost it. So that was like my first initial exposure into it, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And what gave me the belief level into pursuing it and really learning it and mastering it, and I guess looking into it further, was just seeing success stories. I was surrounded by a community of very successful people in the space that I got a chance to meet through a connection I made. I actually went to a conference in Miami and I got connected to a few very successful people. And from them, they kind of showed me what was possible. And after seeing people that made like 6 figures a month, 7 figures a month in these spaces, I knew it was possible. I just knew if I put my head down, I could do it too. So that was the biggest thing for me, really just understanding and seeing that it is possible and just raising my lid. I think that was the biggest thing for me because, like I said, my lid was so small before, where I saw the lid could be raised. And as soon as I saw the lid could be raised, I just ran with it.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I'm gonna have to write that one down. Raising my lid. So if you see me post that anywhere, I'll give you your credit. But I like that. Perfect. And so for those watching who are like, okay, crypto, I understand like it's a coin. Can you give us kind of a breakdown of what crypto means? Like, what is crypto? How do you use it? And then like, where does one go to figure out to learn crypto? Because I'm thinking of the process, right? Okay, I say this person tells me, okay, let's get into the crypto business. And I'm thinking of a coin. What's a coin? But how do I learn how to make that coin work to then see 6 figures a month? Like for me, I'm one of those non-believers. Like I remember Forex and a couple other I would call shady things that I used to hear of, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not a believer. I can't see it, but you saw some success stories. So like break that down for us. Like what is a crypto coin? How does it work? And how do you learn about crypto to understand it?
100%. So, I mean, well, crypto, the first thing to understand is there's two types of currencies. So there's decentralized and centralized, right? So a decentralized coin is a coin that's not really governed by any body or person or entity, where a centralized is something that's governed by a certain thing. So what we have is the typical currency, like the US dollar, the Canadian dollar, the Japanese yen, is called fiat currency, right? And that's a certain type of currency. And then the second type is cryptocurrency, which is decentralized. Meaning it's not governed by anybody or anything like that. So that's really the biggest difference. There's those two types of coins. And in terms of crypto, the reason why it's so cool is because it's decentralized. So it's not like a single body owns it, right? So the Canadian dollar, for example, obviously I live in Canada, or the US dollar, it's the same thing. Our government can print unlimited supplies, and they could do whatever they want with the money, and they could raise it, lower it. They can raise the amount of money they're printing. They can lower it depending on their control, where cryptocurrency is more controlled by the people, right? So every asset moves on something called supply and demand, which most of us understand and know. And with crypto, for most of the major coins, there's a limited supply. So because there's a limited supply, that means it's unaffected by inflation, right? So because it's unaffected by inflation, as long as the demand keeps on increasing, which, as you guys can probably see in the world, more and more companies, even countries, different things are constantly adopting crypto. It's just going to keep on going up and up in value over time because there's a very limited supply, right? Because it's a cap. Most cryptos have a cap in supply, and there's an overall greater demand coming in constantly, right? And just to further that a little bit more, we're in a very early stage in terms of adoption. Every asset class go through different something called the global adoption curve, and crypto's in that middle stage. So it's in a stage where it's too far adopted to the point where it can completely crash, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not adopted enough to the point where it's a late investment. So we're in the middle stages where we're still relatively early, right? But we're not too early to the point where it's very risky. So that, and I'm talking about like specifically the bigger coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, so on and so forth. But yeah, that's a little rundown about that. For me, actually, I learned a lot of my information from just surrounding myself with the right educators. Like we have our own platform with RFG where we partner up with some massive academies across the world. And through the partnerships that we have, we get a chance to learn from 7-8 figure earners, people that have made even more money than me in the crypto space that teach on our platform. And they teach multiple styles of crypto. So you can do like day trading crypto, you can do investing crypto. We can talk about the NFT space, which is like digital crypto assets, the metaverse, Web3, which is a whole different game where we can go on.
So much.
There's so many aspects to the crypto space. It's more about what interests you the most, what kind of person you are, and then figuring out what aligns with you and really going from there.
I love that. I love that. So talk to us about RFG. How did it begin? Well, you spoke about it a little bit, but how did it begin? How did you vet out your team that you have? Because you have a couple other people that work for you. I took a look at your website, and what the mission is and what you guys do in the academies. And someone who's sitting here watching, they're like, you know what, I'm interested in crypto. I don't really know, like, how could RFG help them?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, what we did really, just so you can understand a little bit more. So I started RFG. So I'll give you like full backstory. So when I first started in this space, I created a community called Generation Next. And that's really was where I started off. And we're just trying, our goal was to really impact the next generation of entrepreneurs and all that kind of stuff. But this is when we were like kind of brand new, not really knowing what we were doing. It's just more of a community rather than an education platform. And we were really just trying to figure it out. That was like the biggest thing. Just a bunch of us in my university. It was like 12 of us that really started it, trying to figure it out, when it was a lot of failure along the way and a lot of hit and miss along the way. And then more recently, about 8-9 months ago, I met a few individuals, 2 individuals to be exact, that had different trading groups. I had Generation Next, and this is when I started getting more successful and getting good. And another individual had Revolt, which was called Revolution, and we created RFG to call it Revolution, which from Revolt to Free Generations, to create this massive movement where we can help people in many different ways. Because he had certain skills, I had certain skills, just to combine it as a whole. So what really RFG does, I mean, the way we really design it is our goal is to help people learn the skill set on the highest level, because our biggest problem that we notice in today's world is most people really struggle with creating passive income or struggle financially just because they have one income stream. So they're only working a job, and they're stuck in a certain quadrant or a certain standpoint in their life. So what we really focus on is solving, in my opinion, the biggest problem where a lot of people never get a chance to live in their true passions, right? Simply put, because they don't know any better or they don't have enough income coming in to actually focus on what they want. So they spend all their time doing something else to make someone else rich rather than themselves. So what we do is we teach 6 high level income skills: foreign exchange trading, obviously aka forex, but not the wrong way, the right way. It's the stock market, how to trade in the stock market. We teach scalping, right? We teach, which is like quick ins and outs of the market. We teach crypto, obviously, slash NFTs, slash the metaverse and Web3 and all that kind of stuff. And then we also teach e-commerce and how to monetize your social media. So our real goal is to teach you multiple skills that can make you unlimited money, or unlimited income, so you can focus really on your passion. So the goal is for you to come in through our platform, learn a skill that can make you unlimited money, and then we have ways for you to earn with it as well. We have like partnerships with companies that will get you funded if you show that you're good, and so like funded anywhere $50,000 to $500,000 to trade with and stuff like that. So our real mission, just to really summarize it in general, is our goal is to help people learn skills that can make them unlimited income, so they can focus more on what they're truly passionate about, and they don't have to worry about like, oh, I have to work this job to make money. No, you have a skill that can pay you for life now. So now use that skill, use the money you make up that skill to focus on what you really would do if money was an object.
Right. And so how long typically is someone a student in RFG? Like, is it based on how long it takes them to learn or to make a certain amount of money, or what's the process like?
You can be a student for however long you want. It's more about kind of, a lot of people do like alternate. So they go through like different sections. So they start off, they learn crypto trading, then they start learning how to create their own e-commerce store and so on and so forth. And then they just create multiple income streams. It really depends on you. Typical person to like learn a skill can take you anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Everything's recorded. We have live sessions as well. So it's more based on your schedule and your time. If you can commit more time to it a day, obviously it's going to take you quicker versus someone who's going to be maybe committing 30 minutes a day or it's an hour a day. But either way, you can still learn the skill. It's the same process. So it's a full-on process system, like a 4-step system. It's more about you just getting through your process at a certain time.
I love that. I love that. And just to reset really quick, we're this is the Imperfect Action Show. I'm Sizzle Speaks, filling in for Brendan Boyd today, talking with Matt. We're talking all things crypto trading. So if you're watching live and you want to ask a question, please feel free to leave your question in the question box. I'll make sure we get that answered for you. And so in terms of you personally, when you think back to when you started out and going through this journey, what has been your biggest risk, if you don't mind sharing, in terms of dollars? I know I'm nosy, so I would like to know like how much you actually lost as like a biggest risk, and then how long did it take you to kind of get over that moment of like defeat, right? Because especially when it comes to money, if you put in 15 grand and you lose 15 grand, unless you got 15 grand hanging around, like that could take a hit, right? And so how did you get past that hurdle to say, okay, I still want to stick this thing through and make it work?
100%. So, I mean, honestly, there is a lot. Like I can list a lot of them. There's a few that come to my mind to start off with. So, one of my biggest losses, I was part of a company, and I was in a company that trading wise and investing wise, this is when I first started. This was like 3 years ago. It didn't really align with my morals and really what I wanted to do and what I wanted to focus on. And I didn't feel aligned with them anymore. And I was in a position where I was getting paid, or I was getting offered to get paid about $15,000 USD on a contract every single month. And at that time for me, it was a lot of money. That was a large amount of money, to get 15,000 USD coming in. So I was in a position where I had to choose morals or money. Do I turn down that $50,000 USD and get that paid every single month, basically for the next however long, and restart and reset with nothing, with no income coming in, right? Or like, do I stay in that position? And I think that was probably one of my biggest ones where I chose not to. I chose to like restart, reset, and make a decision more for my morals. And in the long run, it paid off tenfold, right? But at the beginning, it was a very tough pill to swallow. I mean, that's one case. That was like probably my biggest one, because I had to turn down a lot of money for something for uncertainty. But I just knew who I was, and I knew what I could do, and I knew the impact I wanted to make, and I knew that was going to be aligning. So I didn't really care how much money I was going to be making, because I knew that even if I made that much money, I wouldn't feel happy, right? So I wanted to do something that would actually make me feel happy and make me feel good about what I was doing. And then the second thing is like, honestly, like I worked on a few projects or try to create a few projects, and a few people just like straight up took money like from me from investments and so on and so forth. In a certain NFT project that I sold to someone like scammed me out of about $35,000 and stuff like that. So there's been tough times for sure, 100% along the way. It's not like everything's always sunshines and rainbows, but once you have skills that can pay you, you always know you can get back right up or get right back up and keep going and keep pushing and keep persevering, right? Because you know you can make money. And I think that's the biggest thing for a lot of people is like it's just about understanding that who cares about obviously the little things. It's about what do you do next, right? Obviously negative stuff happens to every entrepreneur, every investor, every person in any industry. It's just about how do you get back up after those hard times. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I love that. And I actually saw something similar to that as a caption on one of your posts where it's like, you know, people complain about the things that aren't working, but they don't take the necessary steps for the things that can work. They
100%.
just kind of sit in it and, you know, don't figure it out. So I love that you said that. So in thinking about how to get to this RFG chain situation, right? Because that's the type of money that we want to see when it comes to trading in crypto. Like this is a very vulnerable, transparent moment for me, but I'll share it because that's just me as a person. I invested into like some RXP. Is that what I don't even know what it's called. It's so embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. But I put a couple of dollars into it last year. Brendan actually made me. He said, I don't care what you do. You're going to put some money here, whatever. I don't even want to tell you the amount that's in there right now because it's so embarrassing. Like I wouldn't even be able to get one diamond in the chain kind of thing, right? But for someone like me who's in the situation where it's like you have money sitting in RXP or sitting somewhere, like what should I be doing differently, if anything, to see momentum or see something change? Or is it one of those things where it is what it is and it moves how it moves? Because again, this is zero crypto knowledge.
No, 100%. So I mean, what you need to understand about crypto is there's market cycles, right? So just like anything in life, whatever you're doing, there's ups and downs, and it's the same thing with the market. Everything moves in the same thing. Everything moves in waves. Just to like really put on the most like basic spectrum, like everything moves in cycles and waves, right? So understand that like right now we're on a downtrend. It's called a bear market. For people that don't really understand the terminology, a bear market just means downtrend, and then a bull market means up, right? So right now in the crypto space, right, the market's going down, relatively down. Obviously, we had a little push up, but now it's going to go back down for a little bit longer, right? So the idea behind investing is when there's blood in the water, you buy, right? So when there's fear, you buy, and then obviously when everyone's hyped, you sell, right? But the problem with most people is they don't understand how investing really works. So they just chase the bag because they see the excitement. They're like, oh, everyone's making money in Bitcoin. I'm going to buy it right now. Right. So without proper education, I think the easiest way to look at the market, if you don't have the knowledge, you don't care to learn, or you don't want to learn, is look, when people are scared, fear is a good thing, right? Because that's when big money enters the market, right? Fear is a good thing, right? And hype is a bad thing if you have money in the market, right? Hype probably means you want to get out, and then fear probably means you want to get in. Right. So you want to look at the market in that way, in that terminology. That's the way I would look at it. For you right now, I think the biggest thing is really accumulating money. This is what I teach my group. We have something called our wealth blueprint, where we teach people different ways to make money. So this is like kind of the blueprint I give people. Use one of our 6 skills to learn how to do something that's going to make you money and make you unlimited money. The next thing you want to do is you want to position yourself. So you want to start buying crypto in at the bottoms or the lower points. Right now, we're in a relatively low point. So if you wanted to, you could now, but there definitely is going to be lower levels that you can enter and find like the perfect entries. I guess there's no such thing as perfect entries, but as close to perfect as possible entries along the way. That's the next thing. And then from there, you take the money you make on crypto. You just have to know your targets of when you're trying to get out. And then with that money, you take it and you invest it into bigger plays like real estate, obviously land, businesses, whatever you want to do. And that's how you can really set yourself up for life, in my personal opinion, right? So I think it's more about just understanding how the markets work, the cycles, all that kind of stuff, and really understanding, look, like this is a good thing for you, because if you can accumulate enough money in the next 6 months, and you can learn properly how to trade and invest in the next 6 months, and you start making a lot of money off that, just so you make 50,000, 100,000, and you can throw that into the bottoms in these markets, you can probably make like retirement money if you know how to use it effectively and properly, and when to get in and when to get out. So that's what I would personally advise to you. Maybe just get yourself a little bit more educated now, or if you don't even care to get educated, think about it. When is there the most fear? That's what I'm going to buy.
Okay. Remember that, you all. Blood in the water means go after it. But if it's butterflies or rainbows, leave it alone for a moment. If there's too much hype. I love that. So how much seed money would you say a person needed if they wanted to start investing in crypto or NFTs or even the metaverse, right? Because there's so many different things happening now. I honestly can't keep up. But say I'm sitting at home, I'm watching this, or I'm watching the playback, and I'm like, okay, I have $500. Like, is that enough to get started, or does someone need like $15,000 to see good investments?
You can start with whatever amount you want, and just you have to like control your expectations, right? Like you can't expect it to turn $500 into $5 million unless you get super lucky, right? So you just got to understand like risk to reward. And honestly, that's one of the biggest things that a lot of our early investors struggle with, or just that I know. And obviously that's the main thing we teach people in their first 72 hours, because we understand that if you don't understand risk, you'll never be able to see success, right? So what we really focus on is teaching people to understanding that, look, it's not about getting a bag. It's about your ROI on your investment, meaning you're returning your investment. So 15 times, for example, just say your money grows 10 times over the course of a year. 10 times on 100,000 is $1 million. 10 times on $100 is 1,000, right? Doesn't mean like you saw the exact same ROI, but just because you had more money, obviously you see more success. So based on your goals, I would say you can start with $500 if you want, but obviously like temper your expectations. That's the biggest thing. I would say like if you are trying to start in the market, the biggest thing you want to do is just I would say invest your money. If you have less money, I would say like less than 5,000. Invest more money on education more than anything, because education is what's going to pay you more than anything. And if you have a lot of money, just seek advice from the people that know what they're doing, and really go from there. So it depends on you and what you want to do. And if you want to educate yourself, obviously do your thing, but that would just be my personal perspective for the average person.
Perfect. And what do you see as like kind of the most common challenge that your students have coming into RFG? Like what's the problem point that you guys are solving the most? Like, is it more so mindset and then believing? Is it not understanding the different pillars? Is it a combination, or what would you say is most common?
I think the biggest thing is emotional control. Definitely emotional control, because trading is we're talking about just trading, so not like long-term investing, but trading, even long-term investing is the same thing. Trading is a very emotional game. And no matter how good you are, you're going to lose. Like transparently, like I've had losing months in the past 6 months. I've had a losing month, or even 2 losing months actually. And that's okay, because I know how to manage my emotion. I know how to manage my risk, and I know I can make more overall. Right. So you just have to have real control over yourself. And it really comes down to self-control. And then the second thing is delayed gratification. And that's something we set from the beginning. We set expectations. And you always got to set expectations on yourself. Like trading and investing is no different than trying to become a doctor, for example, right? It takes 4 years of medical school plus residency to become a doctor, right? Lawyer, same kind of thing, right? Any high level profession that pays you a lot of money takes time to learn. But for some reason, people that get into trading and investing, they want to get rich quick. They're like, oh, 3 months in, I don't see success, I quit, right? But that's not really the case, right? That's low-key what gave like the Forex industry a bad rep, because people were selling people dreams, right? As a whole, they're like, yo, come in, you're going to make thousands of dollars in your first month. But no, like trading something like Forex, like one of my best friends is an amazing Forex trader. It took him 2 years to get to this level, right? But now he can make money whenever he wants because he's that good, right? But it took him 2 years because he treated it like what it was, a high income producing skill, right? Same thing like a doctor. It's a high income producing skill. Trading and investing is a high income producing skill. If you're entering it and you're trying to master it, you need to understand delayed gratification, which is what all athletes understand. All successful human beings understand delayed gratification, that it takes time to get good. But once you get good, you're set for life on a high income producing skill.
I love that. And I'm going to repeat those for you just in case you missed it the first time. Delayed gratification and emotional control. Like those are two big things. And in terms of being in business, if you're an entrepreneur, you're watching this, especially with emotional control, you have to be able to temper your emotions when it comes to business, because you'll ruin a lot of situations if you don't. And then delayed gratification, that's another good one. Something I need to work, because I'm an instant gratification person. Like I can't do online shopping. I want it now. I want to feel, touch, smell. So that's good to know. We have a question from the community, so I'm going to pop over here. Matt, if we wanted to do $100 a month into crypto investing, how do you figure out best to decide what to invest in?
Okay. So for $100 a month, obviously that's a lot less money. So what I would say personally, is from my personal experience, it's about managing your risk level. So if you have a very like a smaller amount of capital, I personally just recommend putting it into the biggest coins, right? So something like Bitcoin, something like Ethereum, those bigger coins, because it doesn't make sense to start investing in tiers. So what I do when I help people invest in crypto, I'm talking about long-term investing, is I have 3 tiers. I have like safe, like long-term coins, which are like the Bitcoins and Ethereum. I have the second tier, which is like mid-tier coins that have higher potential reward, but also a bit more riskier. And I have my third tier coins, which are potential 100 times, but they're very, very risky. Right. So if you're someone only able to invest $100 into the market, I would say put all your money into a safer investment, because it doesn't make sense to invest anymore. But when you have more capital, you would split it up accordingly. So about 50% in the safer ones, or about 60% in the safer ones, about 30% in the mid-tier ones, and then about 10% in the very risky ones. That's how I would do it.
I love that. 60, 30, and 10.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, wait, it's 100. Okay. We have another question, which might be repetitive, but we'll see. What are the best cryptos to invest in that create passive income?
Okay. So no crypto just naturally creates passive income. But if you there's something called staking, that allows you to create passive income from your cryptos. So what I would do if I were you, if you're trying to create this passive income, or you can do something called yield noting, or noting as a whole. Those are like 2 terms. You can look them up later. With those 2 terms, or with those 2 things, that's just where you can hold your money in a certain asset, and it'll give you a return every single year, every single month. So right now, where the current market is, if you're holding some of the major coins, most of those coins are probably going to go down, in my opinion, at least 30 to 40% minimum, more if not lower. So understanding that principle, it doesn't make sense for you to hold or stake a main coin. So what you would want to stake right now is a stable coin. Something like USDC would be a good coin to stake, and stake something like that. And then you just put it into staking, and then you would earn maybe like a few percent every single year on your money.
Nice. I love that. And so earlier you mentioned, crypto is at a point where it's going to go back down a little bit. What would be one point of advice you'll give to those who are like, you know what, we're not hearing about crypto so much. It was something that was in our faces, not so much anymore, or it's getting ready to do a little downturn. But you want people to understand that it is a risky business. We know that it's part of the game. It's how you play it. But those who are like kind of on the non-believing side or thinking that it's not going to be a great investment, what one piece of advice would you give to us?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing is like, think about the world, right? Like, whenever there's something new, it's always, I guess, like frowned upon, right? So like, look at like life in the past 100, 200 years, right? Something different, people always hate, right? So something that's breaking someone's norm or their typical mentality, people are always going to hate on, no matter what, right? So when it's outside of someone's normal spectrum, they're just going to hate on it because it's different, right? So crypto is breaking the normal way people look at money, right? So when something breaks something normal, people are like, hate on it. It's not going to work. It's not going to last, right? But what you got to look at projects or look at things as a whole is it innovative? Is it innovative? And is it needed, right? And the answer is yes and yes, right? So understanding both those things is not going to go away because it's too needed. It's too globally adopted at this point. Too many companies have it. Countries even are using it as a form of payment. Literally most places, like you can even go online and purchase stuff in crypto now, right? And so many different companies and so many different places, from so many different websites. You can literally Google what companies take crypto, and there's so many of them at this point. So
and there are like athletes who get paid crypto now too, right?
Yeah, athletes are getting paid in crypto. Like there's huge people endorsing it. Like I have a few NFL players, can't say their names, but they're using our platform and they're throwing half their income right into crypto, whatever money they get paid by the NFL. So like that's kind of the bigger picture and the bigger spectrum as a whole, to really understand like the world is moving towards that way. And I mean, just like typical world, I mean, we can get into this and this will be a whole different conversation, but like they obviously don't want you to learn stuff that are different, right? Everyone wants you to do the typical things because that's how society works. Follow the same path, 9 to 5, follow the same path. That's what everyone does, right? And they don't want you to break the norm, because when you break it, right, then obviously you're not really following into the same norm. So they're obviously going to question and make you question stuff that are different. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Perfect. That was a lot. Okay, we got one other question, and then I want us to quickly talk about your Done platform, and then the app that not app, I just called it an app. I don't even know if it's app. What you're coming out with a little later. Yeah. What's good starter account to consider using? TI start consider using to start your crypto investment account. So what's a good starter account?
Do you mean like amount or like?
I think maybe because what I don't even see this
Or
is
platform?
what that is. I don't remember what I use for my XRP, but I think he's meaning what starter account is best to use when you're getting ready to invest. Like, should you use Nerd Wallet or
Oh, okay,
again,
okay,
I don't even know if those are accurate.
no, I know what you're saying. I think for starter accounts, okay, so depending on how much you have to invest, you have to adjust and adapt. So like most people enter the market in an exchange. I would not hold your money in an exchange. It doesn't make sense. Obviously, you guys probably all saw what happened with FTX, all that kind of stuff. So I never hold it in there. Personally, I would say to keep your crypto the most safe, invest in a ledger or a Trezor, any of these things. These are what we call cold wallets or cold storage, where your money is your crypto. So it's your what we call private keys, where you actually own the crypto on that account, right? So that's what I would personally say. As a whole, I think that would be the best. Oh, how much should you have?
How much should you have to play with or start with? Oh, he might have missed that in the beginning. Okay.
Okay, cool. So I'll just continue this and go from there. So that's where you'd hold like a large amount of crypto. And that's what I personally would say as a whole would be the best place to hold your crypto and really go from there. To answer Brenda's question, kind of what I was saying before, it really depends on you and your financial situation. I personally, what I would say is dollar cost average, how much you can afford to put in. In my personal opinion, catching crypto right now wouldn't make sense unless you're holding stable coins and you're staking them. I would say start buying in a little bit lower and just start accumulating whatever extra money you have lying around, sitting around that you're making. Obviously, as long as you're in profit, start throwing money in every single month or every single week into the space so you guys can catch these bottoms and really, really go from there. That's what I would personally say for you guys.
Nice. I love that. All right. So let's touch on Donecom. It's Donecom, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let us know about Donecom, what you use the platform for, and then let our audience know where they can find you.
Yeah, for sure. So Done.com is a crypto exchange that I'm launching along with two of my business partners. What Done is going to be really all about is Done's going to be all about just helping people enter the crypto space and really trust exchanges again. That's really the goal. As you guys probably heard about FTX and all this kind of stuff, a lot of stuff happened in crypto space that scared people away. So what we're creating with Done.com is we're allowing you to have your own private keys, where you can actually have your own private key as a whole, which what basically means is you actually own your crypto. So for a typical exchange, when you put money in the exchange, the exchange owns your crypto and it's going to move your dollar value based on obviously what you put in. But in our exchange, you're going to have your own private keys. So you actually own the crypto that you're holding on our platform. Our goal is to incorporate and build in MetaMask. So MetaMask, which is going to be a platform you can buy NFTs and all that kind of stuff, is going to be built in. And we also do over-the-counter transactions. So any high levels of cash that you have, you want to convert to crypto or crypto cash, most exchanges don't accept that. So what we do is we can do like a wire of like up to 100 Bitcoin worth, up to a few million worth into the crypto market and out of the market, basically just through a wire transaction. So we do both sides. So that's really what we're building out right now. We're basically almost done building it out as a whole. And then really going from there. That's really where we're at right now.
Perfect. I love that. All right, we'll take one more question from the community. Ty here. If you buy a ledger and that's owning your own keys too, correct?
Yeah. So buying a ledger, that means you own your own crypto and you own your own keys. So that's the way that most people now have to do it. But that's our goal, is to like incorporate it all into one, so you have it all in one place.
Amazing. Wow, Matt, I learned a lot. I'm pretty sure those watching or whoever's going to watch this replay, by now you've learned a lot just in the couple of minutes that we were talking. Crypto is still here, everyone. It's not going anywhere. It's one of those things where you have to understand when there's blood in the water, that's when you play. And when it's looking too good, that's when you kind of back away. So thank you, Matt, for that. That was awesome information. Can you let us know where we can find you, how we can get more information about RFG, and where we can make sure we can keep an eye out for you and the Done.com coming out?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, well, Done.com would be Done.com. So you just type that in and you can check it out. So DONE.com. RFG, our website is www.rfg.life. And if you have any private questions or anything like that, you can hit me up on Instagram. It's literally in my name. So Matt Fernandez 57. Just so you guys know, by the way, there's like a lot of fake accounts of me that try to scam people with my name, as it is for probably a lot of people. So just be very careful that you follow the right me. just go check my picture, see if there's comments. If there's actually comments, that means that it's actually my account. And obviously you can really go from there. But just to really add to what she's saying, like, I think the biggest thing right now is just positioning yourself, right? Like, whenever there's, like I was saying, blood in the water and all that kind of stuff, that's a time where people can really change your lives in these situations, because when there's hype and everything, it's kind of a little bit late, right? But the most successful people in the world, they just position themselves the right way in different eras and different times. Like one of my business partners who actually partnered up with us in Donecom, he positioned himself well during the .com like bubble when it boomed, right? And he was able to buy Donecom, and that domain itself is worth $3 million just from that domain. And he has like 15 domains at that value, right? And that's how he got wealthy, and that's how he's retired, right, at a very young age, right? Because he was just able to position himself properly, right? Same kind of principle with this, guys, right? It's just about positioning yourself in the right place and the right time. And especially in the crypto space, you guys can really position yourself well, because all this kind of stuff, all the negative equals opportunity. And if you're able to learn and put yourself in the right position during this time, you guys will be able to gain a lot of opportunities. So if you have any questions, need anything at all, any question about anything I talk about, you guys can just hit me up on Instagram. I'm going to answer straight away, but I will answer every single person. So just hit me up straight on Instagram, and I can answer anything you guys need or anything you guys learn from this podcast.
That was amazing. Thank you so much, Matt. Thank you, everybody, for watching. As Matt said earlier, which is one of my statements I always say, you could be anywhere in the world, but you spend some time with us here on the Imperfect Action Show. Another great episode on crypto trading. Make sure you guys go check out Matt Fernandez on Instagram. Go to the right account. Don't get scammed. But, you know, that goes to show you're a man doing big things in your space. So I appreciate you so much for being here, Matt. Thank you to the audience. And we'll see you on another episode of the Imperfect Action Show.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Peace out.